Coming up next on the Conscious Courage podcast.
Wholesaling. This strategy is about finding properties at a discount and assigning a contract to or the contract to another buyer for a fee. It's a good way to get started in real estate with little to money down. Good morning. Welcome to the Conscious Courage podcast and sing it with me. Happy Motivational Monday. I am your host, Davone'a. I meet with you all every Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to provide practical steps toward our inner healing journey, or what I've coined internal glow up. Whether you're here as a first-time listener or returning, thank you for tuning in. The team and I are grateful to every subscriber via YouTube and every listener via Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, as well as Spotify. With a special shout out to all of our IGU babes keeping up with us on social media on all platforms at CC Podcast with DT. Y'all are locked in and we are too hyped to have you here, all right? Now, ensure to listen on through so you can receive those practical steps as well as any announcements that we may have. Let's dive on into today's episode. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to the Conscious Courage podcast, y'all. Before I even get into this episode, we're celebrating 6 months of podcasting. Like 6 months of podcasting. Like 6 months of podcasting. That's half a year. Half a year of birthing the Conscious Courage podcast. Can we please have a moment of silence? 1000% worth celebrating. And in my mind, I would have balloons and like banners and the little things that you can blow and go. And the way life is set up, and the way that I am recording this short notice, it just didn't happen. But I'm super excited to share this moment with all of you. Thank you for tuning in via YouTube and all of the audio streaming platforms. I thank you for following the podcast at CC Podcast with DT. Thank you for tuning in, y'all, sharing. Started this month off as a guest on my first podcast ever, and it was live on top of that. Shout out to the Stroke of Genius SOG podcast. Thank you, Coach AD. I haven't even gotten into this episode. I haven't even gotten into the mini-series for the month of October. We are going to discuss one of my favorite topics, real estate. Real estate, yes. And how am I going to mix real estate in with conscious, with being aware, with working on your mental and your spiritual as well as your emotional? Just stay tuned. You know I'm going to figure it out. Now, let me get back on the script, and that is welcome to the first episode of October's mini-series, where we are taking a deep dive into my favorite topic, as I mentioned, real estate, all right? And this month, we are deep diving into how to build your wealth through real estate in making conscious decisions that shape your journey. So whether we are talking fix and flips or the BRRRR method, okay, whether you are buying, rehabbing, or renovating, same, renting out that property and then refinancing, that's what the BRRRR method is, we're talking about it. If you want to learn what real estate literacy is, financial literacy is, we're talking about it. So this episode, you get me, yay. But after this, for the rest of the month, is nothing but subject matter experts that I know dearly coming on here, breaking down their area of expertise as it pertains to real estate. And that is the fix and flips with Miss Whitney Metcalf and the BRRRR method with Mr. Joe Moody, and then simply discussing real estate with Mr. Irvin. Y'all, it's going to be so good. And let me say this, because I did not list them in order. So come back every single Monday. But the order is simply real estate next week. After that is fix and flips. And then we're closing out with the BRRRR method. Yes. So come back. I got you covered. Now, I'm your host, Davone'a, and this series is all about making informed decisions and understanding the bigger picture when it comes down to real estate investing. My purpose here is for you all to walk away, click away, or turn this here series off with a better understanding on how you can build wealth through real estate. I have been very fortunate to be in rooms with individuals that mind blown. Okay. I don't know what their figures are, but you can probably Google them and find it out or figure it out yourself. And they're dropping nuggets, they're dropping gems as it pertains to real estate. And so what do? Anytime I learn something, I feel like I am obligated to share. And I've had a couple years of dibbling dabbling in real estate. And so I'm here to share it with you all. So lay back, gonna lay out the groundwork for you. Be excited for this month and this topic. Even if you've never considered buying real estate, it's still good to have an understanding because you may come across someone who is interested in real estate and you have the knowledge. Thus, you have a seat at the table because you can break some things down to them. Not saying that you will walk away from this mini-series an expert, but you will certainly walk away from this mini-series knowledgeable. So grab your pens and your papers and just prepare yourself for this yummy discussion. So real estate, y'all. Real estate is one of the most powerful tools out there when it comes to building generational wealth, when it comes to building a passive form of income or an active form of income. When I say passive, that looks like mailbox money on the first of every month. You have a tenant who is paying you out. Active is someone who is actively out there wholesaling property, fix and flipping the property. You even get a little bit of active and passive when using the BRRRR method. And dare I say, if you are someone who does STRs, short-term rentals, which looks like Airbnb, that is active passive because you have to interact and ensure you have all of your supplies and like you're hands-on. Passive, that money's coming in, you don't really have to think about it too much. You may have a property management team who handle the phone calls, the maintenance calls that come up. Whereas active, you're hands-on, you're out there, you're fixing and you're flipping, you are engaged, or you have an active team, you're very much involved. So one is hands-on, whereas the other one is like lay back and just make your money while you're sitting at the beach, drinking some ice cold water, and maybe reading a book. Speaking of books, we are going to share a couple of little snippets out of the book called The Color of Law. You might see to my left, your right, as you look at the screen. And so I'm excited about that, to just bring you some information from that book that I started reading. I haven't finished, but it's good. It's enlightening. Now, the path to success is not just about making money. It's about understanding the history and being conscious of the market and making intentional decisions that lead to sustainable wealth. Intentional. My word for the month of 2024 is intentional. One of the reasons that real estate is so attractive is that it offers various strategies. As I've already mentioned, we will dive into fix and flipping. I'm going to touch on it a little bit in this episode, but you have to come back to join the conversation with Miss Whitney Metcalf on fix and flipping. Homes as well as long-term rentals, and each strategy has its own advantages as well as disadvantages, y'all. Like everything that glitters isn't gold, and you may have to chip away a little bit to get to that gold, but it's worth it at the end. The key, regardless of whatever approach that you might choose to take or you may choose to take, is making sure that you are financially literate and aware of your long-term goals. And I will tell you that the financial literacy conversation that we will have next week, so that is October 14th, is worth all of it. Worth your time. If you want to hear about me overcoming adversity during that 4-month course, go and listen to the episodes that I released in the month of June. Here we go. Some nuggets out of the book, The Color of Law. As we talk about wealth building through real estate, it's also important to acknowledge the systematic barriers that have affected generations, y'all. I'm here to teach you. I'm here to empower you. I'm here to give you the knowledge and the information where you can go out and execute. But should you do nothing with it, at least you'll have the knowledge and the information. And I want to bring you some ideas from the crucial book, which is called The Color of Law by Richard Rothstein. And this book shows how discriminatory policies like redlining or even restrictive covenants and segregation laws shaped real estate landscape in America overall. Y'all, it's really it's eye-opening when you see where legislation was going out and conducting studies that showed where a particular area is more prone for the migration, if I can say it in that way, of African Americans or minorities, but primarily African Americans. And so intentionally not building in that area or intentionally setting up housing and making it disproportionately challenging for an African American family to afford and or be approved, because those that were also not only the legislators, but also those who have the ability to give the loans, banks, were declining African Americans the right to loans. Like, it's just so profound how intentionally there was a body of people to keep others from obtaining real estate through the understanding that it's a tool, it's a vehicle that can lead to a passive way of inheriting money, which is why knowledge is so powerful. But also on the flip side, well, not the flip side, but having that information should charge someone up to go out and understand and see, well, why would someone want to hold this away from me? Like something like that for me, I'm like, oh, well, now let me go out and get it. If it's something that they want to keep from me, then let me go out there and get it, because it must mean it's something that is going to benefit me for the most part. Let's just stay right here on this topic, not other things. We're going to stick right here on real estate. And so I want to bring that book to your awareness if you haven't heard of it, so you can sit back and read it for yourself. But I will also pull a couple of little nuggets out of it to share with you. And it's good. It's good to know history. Overall, I'm not like a history geek whatsoever. I am training myself to get to a place of reading constantly, opposed to picking up the book, putting it down, picking up a book and putting it down. So many people in minority communities, especially Black Americans, were legally barred from home ownership opportunities. And this created a massive wealth gap that persists to today. It's crucial that as we pursue real estate, we understand this history and are conscious or aware of how our decisions either perpetrate these inequalities or work to dismantle them. So earlier I mentioned redlining, and you are like, redline what? Like red liner for your lipstick before I put it on? Like, what are we talking about? So redlining was a practice where banks refused to lend money for homes to predominantly Black neighborhoods, deeming them too risky. As a result, these communities miss out on the wealth building opportunities that home ownership provides. Today, though these policies are illegal, the legacies of them remain, and we must intentionally understand how our investments and financial decisions contribute to the equity in the real estate market. Y'all got that? Listen, go and get the book. Very eye-opening. Or look the book up online, see if there's something you can find on YouTube. There was an excerpt in the book. A gentleman rented his house or sold his house to a Black family, and that individual wasn't shunned, but if I'm not mistaken, like they took him to court or something along those lines just for selling the property to an African American family. So it's just good information. And the person may wonder, well, why is that good information, or how is that good information? It's one, to see how we have come a long way, but two, also for those out there that are minority and homeowners, just for you to sit back and reflect on the achievement that you made, and know once upon a time, those that look like you could not make that achievement, or were not afforded the opportunity, and yet you have it and or received it. That's such a blessing. So sit back and reflect on that. And then for those that are non-African American, it is also having that understanding and that awareness and celebrating, as well as welcoming the diversification in your neighborhood. I'm not gonna lie to you, in the homes that I stayed in, I didn't really know my neighbors like that. I knew an older couple, and that was it. Other than that, I did not, and still kind of in a way do not communicate with my neighbors. But it'd be nice to do that, maybe. I don't know. It's like stranger danger. You know what I mean? Making conscious decisions in real estate. Conscious decisions when building wealth through real estate is muy importante, okay? Muy importante. Very important. And what does that mean? It's about understanding the impact of your investment beyond your bottom line. Here are a few ways to think consciously as a real estate investor. Location and gentrification. Are you buying properties in neighborhoods that are being gentrified? How does your investment impact the local community? There's a fine line between revitalizing a neighborhood and displacing its residents. So being mindful of how your projects contribute to the overall community is vital, because you don't want to go into a place and now you're buying properties at a surplus and forcing those that have lived in that neighborhood for centuries to uproot because you've just made it, as an investor, uber hard for them to afford to stay there. There's also another side to that coin, which is going in and making some renovations to spruce up the area and increase the value of the properties, yet allowing those that have been in the area to stay, or using the method. Which method you think? Fix and flip? BRRRR? Buy and then just turn around and rent it out to whoever is living in it? What method? BRRRR. Ding, 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 ding. Yes. So using the BRRRR strategy, going in, buying a property. Let's say you have a conversation with that owner. Hey, I want to increase the value of your home. You won't have to move out. Other than during the construction cycle, you could come back in, put everything in my name, okay, and you can stay in here and you're going to pay me at whatever the rent X, Y, and Z, but you don't have to move. You are automatically have permanent tenants in place, and you just brought up the equity of that property, which you can pull the equity out of that property and go and purchase another property. Now, I just came up with that, y'all. I don't know if people out here doing that, but people might do that for like a tax lien property where the property has a lien against it because the homeowner hadn't been paying their taxes. And so then you go out and you go to the auction and then you buy the property. Let me transition over. Sustainability. Okay, we just spoke about location and gentrification. Now let's transition into sustainability. With the growing focus on environmental consciousness, think about how you can integrate sustainability into your projects. This could mean using eco-friendly materials in your rehabs or ensuring that the homes you rent or sell are energy efficient. Ad break. Are you seeking an electrifying speaker to ignite transformation in your audience? Well, look no further. Hi, I'm Davone'a, real estate investor, Air Force veteran, and host of the Conscious Courage podcast, where new episodes are released every Monday, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time via YouTube and all streaming audio platforms. I specialize in delivering impactful keynote speeches that inspire change and elevate your minds.
Whether it's a virtual gathering or an in-person event, I bring passion, expertise, and a unique delivery to every arena or every environment that I'm in. Let's captivate your audience together and create an unforgettable experience. Contact me today to book your next event, and let's embark on this journey of transformation, or let's get all of your attendees on this journey toward internal glow up. You can book me via my website by going to www.davonetashay.com. I'll spell that for you. It is www.DAV as in Victor, ONEATASHAE.com. I look forward to connecting with you. Take care.
Then there is affordable housing. So consider investing in or developing an affordable housing market. Well, not a market, but an affordable house. A housing project. Oh, so I guess you could have a market. You can go out and become a whole developer. Don't let me limit you now. Shame on me. As housing prices rise, affordability becomes a greater issue. Providing options for low and middle income families is a way to not only make money, but positively to society. Y'all, I was typing today and I typed received, and I looked at that word and I said, this is not how you spell received. I spelled it correctly, but my brain was looking like, this is not right. The brain is something else, I tell you. When you make decisions with awareness, you're not just building personal wealth, you're helping build communities. It's all in awareness. It's all in consciousness. It's all in understanding. It's all in knowledge. It's all in information. All right, this is why I want to bring you the information. Real estate strategies to build wealth is our fourth topic thus far. I hope you have your pen and paper. Let's get into the different ways that you can build wealth through real estate that we will focus on here. There are other ways, but what we will focus on in this mini series in the month of October on the Conscious Courage podcast are the following: fix and flip. A popular strategy, fix and flip, involves buying a property, fixing it up, it's in the title, and then selling it for a profit. So you want to buy low, do the work, and then sell at a higher price, thus making the money that you put in back plus a little bit of profit on top of that. It's a great way to make quick returns, but it is also a little risky. And you have to have that understanding of market timing, renovation costs, market value in the surrounding area, because you don't want to purchase a property thinking you will go in there and make $100,000 worth of investing in renovation and turn around and sell that property that you bought for $98,000 for $298,000, and all of the surrounding property is worth like $178,000. Well, sweetheart, why didn't you think that you can go in there and make all that money if everything else in the surrounding area isn't there yet? May have been a little too aggressive. You probably didn't do your homework. I wish y'all could hear the crickets that's playing outside, because that's crickets, okay? When you are fix and flipping, the key here is understanding your local market and making sure that the numbers make sense. Always budget for the unexpected expenses that may come up, you hear me? And we'll talk about that with Miss Whitney Metcalf. We are going to get into some fix and flips, the importance of running your numbers. By the time this airs and her episode airs, she has an ebook out. You'll be able to find her Instagram information to go and find her, as she provides real estate insight for free on Instagram. A second strategy is the BRRRR strategy. I was in a course and a lady would say the BRRRR, that BRRRR strategy, like, wait, was she even calling it a BRRRR? She was calling it something. It was like the bar, or I think she was at like it was just the way that she pronounced it. Anyway, the BRRRR strategy is when you buy a home, you rehab or you renovate it. Same. Do the construction necessary to bring it up to a certain standard. You turn around, you rent it out, and then you refinance, which means you take some money out of that property. Maybe you do a home equity line of credit, or you do a refi, a cash out refi, which means you take your equity out by way of really a loan. And then the last R is you repeat this process. So you take that money from your refinance and you go and purchase another property. And then what do? You're going to rehab it. You're going to rent it out, refinance. The purpose of rehabbing the property is to increase its value so that you can then dip into that equity. And the equity is the difference between the property value and how much you owe on the property, if I'm not mistaken, right? That little difference, you want to have a positive number there, and then you can pull from that. So this strategy is more focused on building a long-term real estate portfolio where you buy a distressed property, you rehab it, you rent it out, that property out, that is, and you generate a cash flow. You refinance the property to pull out the equity, and then you use the money to buy more properties, as I just mentioned, but just in that order without all the extra stuff that I was saying. It's a cycle that can help you grow a larger portfolio with less of your cash over time, because you're doing what? Pulling from the equity of that property, which is from the appreciation of that property simply for sitting there and being a good property. All right. Now there also are your rental property. So whether long-term rentals or short-term rentals like Airbnbs, as I mentioned earlier, this strategy provides you with a monthly cash flow and builds equity in the property over time. Rental properties can be a steady source of income, but it's critical to vet your tenants well and maintain your properties to avoid a costly repair in the future. Something that I experience is tenants going from a month-to-month lease to a full 1-year lease. They did not read the fine print that the new lease was a change. Lesson there. I will ask property management teams to over communicate. Put this in the subject line, put it in the body of the paragraph, first sentence in bold red ink with the underline, italics, so that they know what the terms and conditions are. There's also wholesaling. This strategy is about finding properties at a discount and assigning a contract to another buyer for a fee. It's a good way to get started in real estate with little to money down. Y'all, I'm a little to tired, okay? I said to tired on purpose. With little to no money down is what I wanted to say as it pertains to wholesaling, but it does require strong negotiation skills and a deep understanding of market values. I don't have anyone pre-scheduled for the wholesaling topic, but I have someone in mind. I've already reached out. They said, sure. But the topic I mentioned was fix and flip. So I now need to see if he'd be willing to discuss wholesaling. Someone that I followed on Instagram for years, and I'm like, one day I'm going to work with this person, and was able to attend one of the events that he had. And I'm just like, this is so dope. Like, I've been watching this person, and now in a position where I have this platform that's growing, this space. I don't even like the way platforms sound, but this space that's growing, and I can go, hey, hi, would you kindly consider coming on as a guest? And I'll accept the sure. I think sure is yes. So I actually need to re-engage, and hopefully I can do a live. Will y'all tune in for a live? I haven't really done lives, and I don't want to get this person like, hey, will you come on? Let's get a live together. And there's 3 people on the live. All right. Let me know, because this episode drops on the 7th. And so between the 7th and the 16th is when I plan on doing either the live or recording. So what do you think? Would y'all join the live? Like maybe if I find a date, like I was going to say the 14th, but that is a holiday. I would presume the person's busy. What if it was like a live on the 15th, the day after the holiday? Tuesday, October 15th on a Tuesday? If the person was to say yes to a live, would y'all tune in? Put it in the comments. Like, would you join that live? Because I want to respect this person's time. And yeah. And then if so, what time should it be? Like, my bedtime is normally like 8:30. Well, one, it's predicated on their availability. If it's in the evening, what about 7 p.m. Eastern Standard? It's 4 p.m. Pacific Standard, which matters to me because a lot of people are on Pacific Standard Time. That's 6 p.m. Central Standard. And I'm not doing the math to figure out anyone else. So what do y'all think about that? Yeah, I'm excited, y'all. This is such a treat. Let me go ahead and ensure I'm not leaving out anything. I'm not. This is it. All right. As I wrap up this first episode of this mini series, remember that real estate is not just about, a way to build wealth, but we are spending the next 3 weeks discussing building wealth through real estate. It's a way to build legacy. But to do it right, you need to be intentional and conscious in your approach. So whether you are doing that fix and flip, as I mentioned, the BRRRR strategy, building out your real estate portfolio by buying or investing in long-term rentals, short-term rentals, understanding the history of real estate, like what we discussed from The Color of Law, and making thoughtful decisions can shape not only your financial future, but the future of the communities that you invest in. And so I can't wait for you to hear and explore and learn with the incredible guests that I have later on in this month or throughout this month in the potential live. Y'all have to let me know. Okay. October 15th. What are your thoughts? Will you tune in? It's so good. I had some scriptures I thought about. There's a scripture in Luke. I don't know the chapter and I don't know the verse, but it says not to build quickly. It's like to actually take the time to do the math to ensure that you have all of the material necessary or all of the finances, or like or ensuring that it's a wise financial investment, something like that in Luke. Search Luke and real estate. It's about making your investing wisely, in short. And there was another scripture. What is it? There's one that I can think of now, and it says that I can almost see it. It's a twofold where it says lazy hands bring poverty, or it's either lazy hands result in poverty, whereas diligent hands bring forth wealth. So let your hands be found diligently working, if it's in real estate, if it's in IT, if it's in art, if it's in your future pianist, if it's an artist, singing artist, dancing. If you're a teacher, let your hands be found working, and may your actions bring forth wealth. And that's all we're talking about in this month. Building wealth. Building wealth through real estate in particular. Okay, now make sure that you follow us, the Conscious Courage Podcast, on all social media platforms at CC Podcast with DT for daily inspiration, tips, behind the scenes, shorts that I will bring to you from the episode, following those guests that are coming on, at least those guests with social media, because I want to say 2 of the 3 guests do not have social media, and the potential live that I will hopefully secure, he does have social media. thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I said it in the beginning. I'm going to say it here. The Conscious Courage podcast is 6 months old in October of 2024. Wild. I have some ideas on some things that I want to bring to the episodes. I have an idea on how I may strongly shift the quantity of episodes that I produce. I have some ideas on some items that I'd like to bring onto the podcast. Check out your interests and see if you'd be willing to purchase. Cough, cough. Did I say that I was a guest on the Stroke of Genius podcast? I know I did, but I just want to say it again. If you're interested in seeing that episode, hopefully I'll have the link and information to share it. I know it's on Facebook, but it'd be nice to have the link or the video and I can upload it here. It was good. The topic was about purpose, consciousness or awareness, balance. It's good. It's good. So, y'all, thank you for listening to the Conscious Courage podcast. If you enjoyed today's discussion and you want to continue this journey together, be sure that you subscribe to the podcast, that you leave a review, you like and you share with 3 to 5 people. Y'all, I'm only asking for 4 steps. That's it. Until next time, stay courageous, stay conscious, and keep glowing from within, remembering that it takes courage to be conscious, and courage is the key to conscious living. I love you all, and I will see you next week. Stay tuned. Be blessed.
Disclaimer: as a content creator with a background in psychology and ongoing studies, it's imperative that I note and clarify that I am not a licensed professional. The videos and podcasts I produce are intended for educational, entertainment, and transformational purposes only. While I strive to provide accurate information and insights, it's essential to consult with a licensed mental health clinician or a licensed mental health professional for clinical perspectives and personalized advice tailored to your specific needs. Your mental well-being is of the utmost importance to me, and seeking guidance from a qualified provider is encouraged for any concerns or issues that you may be experiencing.